Making another barnacle busting video. This AC unit right in here, the drip on the outside of the boat was getting very slow. Even one day I saw what looked like the water on the outside of the boat, which was not like pouring out like you want, it was trickling out, and it looked like there was steam coming up from it, so I knew that compressor in there was extremely hot. I'm surprised it might have shut itself off, and it might have just been the residual in there, but anyway, it took me a while to get this thing primed. I think the system was so stuffed and blocked up with barnacle stuff. You can see every once in a while, I got a little water flow coming out of here. It's still what I would consider kind of slow. I want to see that whole tube like pouring water out. Then I know all the barnacles have been eaten out of the coil and throughout the system and throughout the rubber lines throughout the system. Because I mean, they take over. So right now the flow is still pretty low, but I mean, you could see stuff. See the brown stuff? Every once in a while you get a chunk and a flake of that drops out of there. You want to let this thing run for a good hour and a half. It's normally plenty. After that point you got good water flow. But today I used instead, I used the Barnical Buster. It was pre-mixed. It was like 25 bucks. So, you know, instead of using a $72 1-gallon jug of the non-pre-mixed, which is $72 for the non-pre-mixed, and you got to pour a gallon of that other one in there and then put 4 gallons of water in. So it's like a 4-to-1 mixture. So this one's already pre-mixed. So right now, I mean, it's doing a good job. It's eating the barnacles out. So I don't know. I think I saved 50 bucks. But I use about a 80 gallons per hour pump. It's not a lot, but it's enough to get it going. Sometimes I wish I had maybe a little bit bigger pump so it would pick it up quicker. I got stuff falling out of there now. It's just stuff every once in a while just dumps out. But to kind of let you know again what I do. This hose right here hooked up to the pump. I send it all the way under the boat, well, in the galley down there where the motors are at, where the water gets picked up from, and I just put a T-fitting in that one port. So I'm just pumping the system through with this Barnical Buster. And the other hose right there, the one that's extracting, that's the hose that gets, I poured into that. I put a 5/8 fitting right there and I poured them both together. Right there. So that's typically that clear line. That's the one that goes to the outside of the boat and, you know, sprays the water outside. So I'm hooked into it. And I'm just basically circulating the water until we get much better water flow. You know, it's getting a little bit better, but it's got some eating to do. Up on my wall, which is my thermostat. I don't have it on right now because I don't have the system turned on. But when it starts blinking HHH, that means that you've got a water restriction. And you've got to figure out where it's at real fast. You know, preferably shut the system down so you don't, I don't think you'll burn up a compressor, but I mean, they get really hot. So the water flow is getting a little bit better now. Probably get some more stuff pouring out. It's just boring the hole open. It's like a big block Chevy getting bored 60, 80 over. You'd hope you go like 100 over. Really open it up. Open up those walls. Get all that barnacle stuff out of there, all that scum. Alright, so I made a mess earlier. I had to put a rag down. I had water spraying everywhere, trying to purge the system. Sometimes it's easy to take a high-speed hose and stick it up to that end right there and blow it through the system. Give it a quick purge. Just blow it through there, and sometimes it'll actually, you know, kind of act like a siphoning of trying to get fuel out of a car. It gets the water flow going. This one took a while because I think it was very plugged up. Well, my Triple H signal was telling me it was. Sometimes I can even get away with shutting the system down for, I don't know, 20 minutes and then starting it back up, and it seems like it kind of helps and bursts some water flow through that tight area, and it gets it going again. It keeps it maintained. I was fortunate I didn't feel like doing this late last night, so I shut the system down for about a good hour, fired it back up, and it maintained all night. There was no HHH blockage signal, but I knew this one over here it's getting blocked up. You can always tell by how much water flow you got on the outside of the boat. And if I can get my water flow as good as I had it at one point in time, I'll stick with the pump that I got. It's kind of like on one of my I want lists, but I really don't need. And I think this pump here probably does, I don't know, I'm going to guess 1,000, maybe 1,200 gallons per hour of water flow, the pump that pumps the water through the system for the AC units. But I found one that's pumps on it, I think it's 2,500 or 2,700 gallons per hour. And I just think a higher speed pump will be able to keep a lot of the scum down because it'll be basically blowing it out. I just got to make sure all my connectors are really connected well, and hopefully we don't blow a hose. But I mean, if the arteries are wide open, you should be all right. All right, my water flow is getting a little bit better now. I just want to see the whole thing flow out the size of the end of that tube right there. I could probably pick up the hose and hear that? It's getting better. I mean, before it was like a distillery doing the moonshine where it would just barely trickle a little bit of fluid. You're like, oh man, here it comes. Yeah, water flow's getting better. Look at that. So yeah, I just used 1 gallon of the pre-mix. I didn't bother filling up the tub here. I just figured it's already pre-mixed and the pump is deep enough, way under, where it actually didn't suck up a whole gallon of water or a whole gallon of Barnical Bust. And it's still got a good amount in there. And the pump is still submerged. See the stuff on the bottom of the bucket? That's all barnacles getting broken up. There's a new floater. We just need that to really flow a lot of water. The more water I flow, the cooler the compressor stays. The compressor's get hot. When I run this AC, it goes 24/7. Unless it gets down to like 67 degrees, then I start getting units to shut down because they finally met the requirement. That's what I like it at night, 67. A lot of times it'll hit 68 degrees. 70 in really hot weather. It's probably also due to the water outside is warmer. It's like a cold water flow system. It would flow through dry ice or wet ice or through an ice machine. But you wouldn't want the lines to freeze up. Huh, interesting. Alright, so signing off. Water flow's getting better. I need that thing to flow a lot.